ये मैंने पहले ही बोल दिया कि आप मुझे रुलाते हो, तो सॉरी
ऐसा
अबाउट
क्यों
दैट।
कहा आपने? मैंने ऐसा क्या कर दिया आपके साथ कि आपको ऐसे इंट्रोडक्शन देने की जरूरत पड़ी?
देखिए सर, मोहब्बत में हमेशा रोना
अच्छा,
तो
रोना
होता ही
आता
है।
है। अच्छा।
और मोहब्बत अगर किसी ने बरकरार रखी है हमारी इंडस्ट्री में तो वो है इम्तियाज अली। आई रिमेंबर एक बार हमने बातें की थी अबाउट इन्फ्लुएंसेस ऑफ लव स्टोरीज, एंड वी स्टार्टेड ऑफ विद कयामत से कयामत तक, अगर आपको याद होगा।
जी।
एंड वी ट्रेस द ट्रैजेक्टरी ऑफ लव स्टोरीज, बट टुडे ऑन दिस पॉडकास्ट आई वांट टू ट्रेस द ट्रैजेक्टरी ऑफ म्यूजिक इन योर लाइफ, simply because we want to know what it takes to make a musical. And I'm going to start off with an observation, which is as a radio presenter, a couple of years ago, मुझे बड़ा डर लगता था कि अगर साउंड ट्रैक्स नहीं रहेंगे तो मेरा क्या काम होगा. And I'm so grateful that you bring music to the forefront in every project of yours. When did this love affair with music start for you? क्या थी वो influences when you were growing up? क्या आप, for example, रेडियो सुना करते थे या LPs हुआ करते थे?
मैं अपने आप को म्यूज़िक का आदमी मानता नहीं हूँ, और ये सच है कि बचपन में there was a time when I was being trained in Hindustani vocals.
Okay.
And that's because my mother really wanted me to be the guy that sings in parties. And maybe she liked guys like that. But so there was a Mahashweta Kala Academy जहाँ मैं जाता था. This was in Patna. I just went for a few weeks and then I wanted to play cricket more than sing at that point of time, तो मैंने छोड़ दिया. तो मैं म्यूज़िक का आदमी नहीं हूँ. I don't know, I'm not a musician, I can't play any instrument actually. But पता नहीं क्यों मुझे अच्छा बहुत लगता है म्यूज़िक. हालांकि मैं बहुत ज़्यादा म्यूज़िक सुन भी नहीं पाता हूँ. I can't listen to 20 songs at a stretch.
Okay.
Because मैं ना वो बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाता है मेरे लिए. तो मैं थोड़ा सा ही सुन पाता हूँ. सो मेरा ऐसा भी नहीं है कि मैं घर में म्यूज़िक सुन रहा होता हूँ. रेडियो में ज़रूर सुनता हूँ, बिकॉज व्हेन आई एम ट्रैवलिंग एंड इन द कार, यू नो हाउ इट इज़ दैट आई कैन लिसन टू अ लॉट ऑफ. बचपन में एज फार एज द इन्फ्लुएंसेस आर कंसर्न, हमारे घर में बड़ा बोरिंग सा म्यूज़िक प्ले होता रहता था हर वक्त.
Okay.
जो मुझे उस वक्त बोरिंग लगता था, एकदम बिल्कुल कहना नहीं चाहिए, बट वो बहुत ही ट्रेडिशनल कव्वाली
जी,
और जो एकदम सीरियस नॉन फिल्म टाइप का म्यूजिक होता था ना, वो सब बजा करता था. तो बड़ा मुझे लगता था, वही जो एक डायलॉग था ना एक फिल्म में मैंने लिखा भी है कि यार सुन लिया, एक ही चीज़ क्यों बजाते रहते हो आप लोग बार बार, ये जो क्लासिकल म्यूजिशियंस होते हैं. तो वो बहुत बजता था. एंड फिल्म का म्यूज़िक नहीं बजता था. फिल्म में हम लोगों को बहुत इनकरेज नहीं किया जाता था, या तो देखने के लिए या बात करने के लिए. वो गाने भी हम ज़्यादा सुनते नहीं थे. मुझे उस वक्त लगता था कि किशोर कुमार कितना अच्छा गाते हैं, बट वैसा हम लोग, आई वॉज अ किड, बट मेरे घर में लोगों को जो बेटर सिंगर्स शायद उनके नज़र में थे, जैसे कि फिल्म के जोन में लता या रफ़ी साहब, इन लोगों को मान दिया जाता था. तो बट ग्रेजुअली आई स्टार्टेड टू, नाउ आई रियलाइज दैट आई लव दैट म्यूजिक दैट आई लिसन टू इन माई चाइल्डहुड. सो मे बी कब जो आप बचपन में सुनते हो वो आपको गाइड करता है जिंदगी भर.
बिल्कुल.
तो वो बोल, वो कलाम, वही अमीर खुसरो, वही उनके कलाम, एंड दैट काइंड ऑफ थिंग, वही कव्वाली, दैट गाइड्स मी.
It's amazing how you've taken calls that have been very good for the industry. जैसे कि मुझे याद है, there was a time जहाँ पर हर साउंड ट्रैक में हर गाना या तो एक दूसरा कंपोजर कंपोज करते, या तो अलग इंसान जो है वो गा
रहे होते थे.
लेकिन I remember a call like that with Rockstar, where you decided that no, the voice of Jordan is Mohit Chauhan. And उस वक्त के लिए it was radical, you know. Or release a soundtrack with 14 songs. Or have, you know, एक चीज़ हुआ करती थी when we were growing up, male version, female version, पटाखा गुड्डी for example, you know. So these are things that stayed with us, you know. अब तो cassette नहीं है, side A, side B नहीं है. But I think these are all calls that you've taken. But I want to take you back to that time जहाँ पर आपने शायद पहला गाना approve किया होगा. You know, एक बहुत बड़ा प्रेशर होता है. You just told me that you're not a musical person in terms of like you don't play an instrument, you don't sing either. लेकिन how does one take that call? Do you remember वो पहला गाना जो शायद आपके जिम्मे आया और आपने कहा ये मुझे अप्रूव करना है?
शायद वो सोचा ना था का गाना था. एक्चुअली उसके पहले सोचा ना था में संदेश शांडले had done the music, but before that, strangely, I had done some. I was directing for television serials,
yes, of
right?
course.
And for one of them, I think the first song that I ever made was for a show called Naina, which those days had come on Sahara. And usme na, guess who the music director was? Preetam.
Okay, amazing.
And उसने एक ट्यून सुनाई थी. And उसने शायद और भी ट्यून सुनाई थी, but this is the one that I liked. उसका ट्यून अभी भी मुझे याद है. And so he had वो गिटार में जैसे सुना था उस वक्त भी वैसे ही सुनाया था, जिस तरह अभी वो लॉस्ट रहता है उस वक्त भी वैसे ही लॉस्ट रहा करता था. I think that was the first tune that I ever approved. And I just approved it because it was so, like, I really liked it, and I thought that somehow it is telling the story of that I'm trying to say in this story Naina. So I जैसे रहमान ने ना एक बहुत बड़ी बात मुझे बोली थी जब मैं पहली बार उनसे मिला, जब पहली बार उन्होंने कुछ मुझे सुनाया, तो मैं ना उनको बोला कि यार आई एम फीलिंग रिलीव्ड बिकॉज आई एक्चुअली लाइक इट, बिकॉज मुझे लगा था कि आप अगर सुनाएंगे ए आर रहमान तो मैं मना के तो मुझे तो अच्छा ही लगेगा, मुझे लगे आप कह रहे हैं तो आपका तो बेटर ही ओपिनियन होगा मुझसे. तो उन्होंने कहा नो यू आर द डायरेक्टर. एंड समहाउ इट मेड इट वेरी क्लियर टू मी दैट मेरा काम म्यूजिक का नहीं है बट मेरा काम डायरेक्शन का तो है.
बिल्कुल.
तो मुझे तो सो बेसिकली मैं ये देखता हूँ कि वो फिल्म कितना कह रहा है, फिल्म की भावना बढ़ा रहा है कि नहीं आगे वो वाला ट्यून, या उस सिचुएशन को समहाउ लाइक यू नो ट्रांसलेट कर पा रहा है कि नहीं. इस तरह से मैं देखने की कोशिश करता हूँ. एंड देन आई कैन 100% बी रॉन्ग, एंड आई एम श्योर दैट आई हैव बीन रॉन्ग सेवरल टाइम्स. आपने वो कहा ना कि द डिसीजन ऑफ हैविंग ओनली वन सिंगर थ्रू ऑल द सॉन्ग्स ऑफ रॉकस्टार. सो ए आर रहमान इज definitely the person to be held responsible for that. Apart from me, I think Rahman sir was also saying like, but how will it sound if every song is of a different voice, but it's the same character? Because in that film, we were playing this character a lot. Yes. Jordan ki identity, Jordan ka character, it was all that. So then how can his voice be different at different times? And then the big question about who will therefore be the voice that will sing all the songs. And we used to joke about it, saying, Rahman sir used to say, so if we take Mohit Chauhan and somebody says, I don't like Mohit Chauhan, then he'll just put the album on the side and never listen to it. So so because he's himself such a he knows, like A.R. Rahman knows music so well and film so well, and you know, so he supported in this.
You know, I once asked him a question. I said there was a counterintuitive decision, counterintuitive to people who don't know anything. अब मुझे पता है, रंगीला का हमने reunion किया था pandemic के दौर में, and it was a Zoom call reunion. So this was the greatest Zoom call of my life, because you know it says A.R. Rahman has entered the chat, and then it said Amir Khan has entered the chat, and for someone like me who grew up with the movies, I'm losing my mind. But I still wanted to ask him. I said, how did you decide to give a song of the ilk of Tanha Tanha, which is, you know, Millie's voice, you know, and then it was Asha Bhosle doing Millie's voice, and that's Urmila, who was at that time in her 20s. And then he said, and he's full of these gems, right? He said, voice doesn't age. आवाज की कोई उम्र नहीं होती. And I said, yeah, that's so, it's so, and but he's full of these, and I'm so glad that he exists in our lives to make us all better.
Sure.
There's something to be said about teams as well, right? Because here's a team that I quickly noticed. I said, Sochana tha, there was Irshad Bhai and Sandesh Sandalia. And here we are, you know, we're coming back with a team which is so successful, you know, which is Rockstar. And that is A.R. Rahman, Mohit Chauhan, Imtiaz Ali, Irshad Kamil. Talk to me about this team and why it works like this.
I think over the years we've become close friends. We've hung out and interfered in each other's lives a bit too much. So we are very open and free with each other, all of us. All of us, like the three of us, respect Rahman sir a lot. And we will cover for each other for sure. For sure. Lovely. Yeah. So if it is Mohit Chauhan is singing, if he's singing, then he will make sure that I'm there. And he will arm twist me in any way that, you know, I have actually not slept for 3 nights in Rockstar during the shoot because I was shooting in Delhi and coming to Chennai for the recording and going back. Obviously, the recording in Chennai was happening at night. And so we do this and we have a sense of, like recently, I was talking to Irshad and I was saying that it doesn't matter what we've done. Is this good for you? Like, are we enjoying this? Is this something that we want to say?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Forget about history, geography.
Yeah.
ये है हमारा, हमको feel होता है ये चीज़ जो हम कह रहे हैं. So we are always thinking of that how like Irshad and I have this, or Rahman sir and I. Rahman sir said when I went to him for Chamkila to saying that why should, so fine, this is there, but we must find out why you and I want to come together for a Chamkila. What is it that, why do we have to do this together?
Yeah.
Why not anything else? And that was the beginning of the discussion on the music of Chamkila. So I think we are informal enough with each other to break certain barriers which might come in the way of making something which is good and unique. We can second guess each other. We can see if I can say to Irshad, who I have worked with a lot, to say that this is fine, Irshad, but I think you are better than this.
Yeah.
And that really puts him on fire. That's the worst thing he wants to hear from me. Yeah. But we are informal. We hang out, we joke, we use bad words with each other. Not so much with Rahman sir. Rahman sir uses a lot of bad words in our company to say, you know what I heard? This. Like, अरे यार ये आदमी ऐसा बोल भी कैसे रहा है? ये लफ्ज़ कैसे इस्तेमाल कर सकता है?
It's so hard to pick a favorite, but I have mine. And I'm going to throw mine at you and you're going to throw yours at me, okay? So let's go back to Rockstar. And my favorite is शहर में हूँ मैं तेरे.
So funny. The one
इतने
song.
कमाल के गाने हैं उस साउंड ट्रैक में, लेकिन रोहिणी रामनाथन को ये गाना क्यों पसंद है?
Wow.
एक डिफायंस है उस गाने में. जॉर्डन की पर्सनालिटी उस गाने से शुरू होती है, दिखती है.
जी.
और शायद इसी वजह से मुझे बहुत पसंद है. शायद इसका भी गम है कि वो खत आया नहीं मेरे पास. Yours.
चिट्ठी डालूंगा.
चिट्ठी डाली थी, आऊंगा मैं तेरे घर, मेल भी किया था मैं. Oh my God, इरशाद भाई कहाँ हो आप यार?
Okay. तो ट्रेन का भी, लॉज का भी,
आके जरा बिल तो देने से. ट्रेन का भी.
घटिया लिरिक्स, इतनी घटिया.
यूपी बिहार में तो धमाल मचा देगा.
हाँ, वो भी जो यूपी बिहार में कमाल मचा देगा, वो भी हमारे आर्ट डायरेक्टर को हमने बुलाया था कि बंगाली एक्सेंट में आप बोलो ये सब. सो हाँ, वो गाना अजीब सा है यार. उस मतलब वो रहमान सर की, वो हमने एक खराब गाना बनाना था कि एक खराब गाना बज रहा है, शहर में हूँ मैं तेरे, मतलब उसमें कोई, मतलब एकदम ही ऐसा खराब गाना. रहमान सर वाज लाइक ओके.
रहमान सर लाइक आई हैव टू मेक अ बैड
सॉन्ग जिसमें कोई सुर नहीं, कोई जॉय नहीं है. देयर इज नो जॉय. देयर इज लाइक अ जॉयलेस, लाइफलेस composition. So he's trying to make that. So पहले बात तो वही बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग था. उसके बाद फिर मैंने बनाया. फिर ऑब्वियसली ये था कि उसको, मगर सॉन्ग ये था कि जब जॉर्डन गाने की कोशिश करता तो वो इतना लाइफलेस गा ही नहीं सकता, बिकॉज ही इज नॉट अ स्ट्रक्चर्ड म्यूजिशियन. वो दिल से गाता है, तो दिल से उसका इतना लाइफलेस आ नहीं सकता. दैट वाज द होल थिंग. सो या that was
What's your favorite from Rockstar? Tough it is, I know.
No, I like फिर से उड़ चला.
I love it. Yeah.
Because क्या होता है ना, when you're working on songs, and you were just saying in the beginning of this that you are very thankful that there are songs in our lives, in our movies, and I am also very thankful because there's nothing I enjoy as much as I enjoy music in film.
Absolutely.
And more than even enjoying music per se, I enjoy the process of making, shooting, and being involved in that. That is what does it for me, actually, as far as music is concerned. And so, of course, Phir Se Ud Chala had a very different kind of a making.
Yes.
It was the first song that Rahman made. But after so much involvement, you stop being able to even listen to those songs on your own.
Yeah.
अपनी फिल्म के गाने मैं नहीं सुन सकता हूँ, मैं नहीं सुनना चाहता हूँ, बिकॉज हो गया मेरा मतलब उनसे वो ख़त्म हो गया हर एक गाने से, because I have really overheard them,
overanalyzed,
overlived them, everything, every lyric, every word, every note, every musician, everything, you know. So अब मेरा हो गया उस गाने से, ऐसा होता है. बहुत कम गाने हैं जो मैं खुद अब भी सुन सकता हूँ कहीं प्ले हो तो. फिर से उठ चला is the number one in that list.
Okay, I'm gonna go for Highway, okay? My favorite from Highway is Pataka Gudi, but Rahman Saab's version.
हाँ.
He found something in that song which is transcended, you know. It's a religious moment at some points, that song. And even though there is a kun faya kun, which is obviously, you know, got those spiritual undertones, something happens with Pataka Gudi, which the Nooran sisters have done so well. But वो एक हो जाता है उनके साथ.
But I think when Rahman sings his own compositions, it is taking it to another level.
Yeah.
I get to hear Rahman singing his original compositions before we dub the artist.
Yes. Lucky man.
Lucky man, really. And literally, if you see what I sometimes do listen to is him singing, like his original scratches. They're very basic, one keyboard ka sound and him humming. When there are no words, singing in gibberish, that I enjoy much more. And believe me, if you heard some of the songs like that, songs that you have now heard and seen and enjoyed, you'd love this scratch even more.
Is that how this song came into the soundtrack? Rahman sir's version of Pataka Gudi in Highway?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had that entire scratch and I was like, there was something in his voice. Especially the higher notes, that chant that he does now after that Naam Rabda Naam Saida Ali. So when he was doing it in that way, and then after that when he goes high, so I thought all this should be there. And sometimes you're tempted to say that why don't you sing it? So when if it is possible, then he does. When it's not possible, then you can always make a version.
Yeah. Your favorite?
From Highway is actually Pataka Gudi, but the female version.
All right. We're aligned on this one. Our next one, Tamasha. Too hard to pick for me personally, but I mean, बहुत रोए हैं ना वो. अगर तुम साथ हो, सर मैंने टेबल भी लगाया यहाँ पे ताकि टॉप शॉट ले पाए ऐसे कर लें. हाँ. और वो बहुत बातें हुई हैं उस शॉट के बारे में, उस गाने के बारे में, उस मोमेंट के बारे में. लेकिन आई हैव अ स्पेशल प्लेस इन माय हार्ट फॉर हीर तो बड़ी सैड है, क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं यू नो आई थिंक यू हैव दिस वे ऑफ यू नो. इम्तियाज अली की औरतें, कितनी बातें हुई हैं इस पर आपको पता है? in cinema, let's be specific. The women of Imtiaz Ali. Okay, we're not perfect, but it's so beautifully done. You kind of find our vulnerability and our strength at the same point. So thank you for doing that at every point. But हीर तो बड़ी सैड है कि कितनों का ब्रेकअप हुआ है और कितनों ने सुना है, कितना रोए हैं. तो ये मेरा गाना है. आपका कौन सा होगा?
तमाशा में ना, when you hear the अगर तुम साथ हो का जो रहमान सर का स्क्रैच वर्जन है ना, that definitely is my favorite.
ये तो हमें नहीं पता ना कहाँ है. I also think that it's so great to keep music at the heart of everything we do. And thank you for that again, because
I do it only for myself, but if it works for you, great.
Definitely works for a radio presenter and for the medium. But outside of that,
it's so beautiful, no? I think this is so unique to our film industry that we have songs. And उसमें क्या है ना, you know why it is the case? I've thought a lot about this. मुझे लगता है कि हिंदुस्तान के जो लोग हैं ना, obviously हम we come from, हम ना जात्रा नाटक देखने वाले लोग थे. हम गाते, हमारे जो गाने होते थे वो theatrical form में ही होते थे. So I think we come from audio visual in the truest, like हमारे जितने भी कथाएं भी हैं, जो सागास हैं, वो हमेशा गा के सुनाई जाती थी. या म्यूजिक के साथ सुनाई जाती थी।
बिल्कुल।
बट उसके अलावा एक और चीज़ है, क्या है ना, हम बड़े फिलोसॉफिकल लोग हैं। अब दुनिया में कहीं भी जाओ, हिंदुस्तानी से ज़्यादा फिलोसॉफिकल कोई नहीं मिल सकता आपको। तो हिंदुस्तान, अब क्या होता है ना, जिंदगी में हम ऐसे बात कर रहे हैं, हम फिलोसफी तो फेंक नहीं सकते एक दूसरे के ऊपर, मगर हमको ना कभी कभी एक अंदाज होता है कि कुछ फिलोसॉफिकल या समथिंग लार्जर देन लाइफ is happening and we are in that setting. How will that be indicated? It can be indicated by music. Where dialogue will be just like regular, but because it's in my mind and it could be in your mind, something that we are not talking about can be expressed in music, can be expressed in lyrics. That is, I think, the basis of
अरे सर, पूरे गाने तो पूरी पर्सनैलिटी है मेरी सर, मतलब और लोगों की भी, यू नो, कि बंदे बोलते हैं ना कि सर कैसे हो, मतलब आजकल कैसे चल रहा है, बोलता है कि मैं जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया, एंड हियर यू आर, इट्स सच अ पावरफुल लाइन, लाइक साहिर साहब की ये लाइन है जहाँ पर इट्स अ थ्रो अवे रियली, बट इट इज देयर सो मच पावर इन दैट लाइन। अगर तुम साथ हो, द सेम, राइट, लाइक इवन टुडे आई डोंट नो, इरशाद भाई के साथ बैठना पड़ेगा कभी,
बिकॉज़ भाई क्यों बोलती हैं?
क्या बोलूं?
इरशाद कहो।
इरशाद?
मुझे क्या कहती हैं आप?
इम्तियाज सर।
अच्छा ठीक है, तो उसको भी इरशाद सर कह सकते हैं।
ओके,
मैं उसकी तरफ से बोल रहा हूँ।
ओके, सो मे बी आई कुड जस्ट कॉल यू इम्तियाज।
Yes, you must.
Yes, I must. Yeah. I must. Yeah, thanks. No, I mean, you know, we work in structures, you know, all of us in the real world.
This is
but
not
then
the real world.
But there is a cushion there. Will you show me that cushion? That
oh
cushion,
God.
quickly.
Oh,
throw it into the camera. Be stylish about it. Yeah, thanks. Now this is a meeting point, right? Because आप ही ने हमको, रूमी ने कहा था, फिर आपने कहा था हमको कि I'll meet you there. तो ये म्यूजिक हमारा कॉमन ग्राउंड है जहाँ पर ये सर की तकल्लुफ जो है
नहीं जरूरी है।
थैंक यू।
एंड ये भी है ना कि वी आर नॉट इन द, अगर हमको रियल वर्ल्ड से इतना प्यार होता, अगर हमको स्ट्रक्चर से इतना प्यार होता, तो आप और हम यहाँ होते ही नहीं।
बिल्कुल नहीं,
तो
बिल्कुल
इसको खत्म करना चाहिए।
थैंक यू फॉर दैट। हाउ डज वन attempt a biopic of one of the most legendary musical figures from one of the most rich culturally, you know, states of our country, जिनका खुद का म्यूजिक है और बहुत कमाल है, और फिर हम कहते हैं कि हमको उनका म्यूजिक जो है वो फिल्म में रखेंगे, लेकिन जो एल्बम है वो हम बनाएंगे। गट्स
नहीं, गट्स से ज़्यादा क्या था कि ये एक्चुअली मेरी किस्मत है कि मुझे ये फिल्म बनाने को मिली। बहुतों ने कोशिश की है और उनको ये उपलब्धि नहीं प्राप्त हुई, बट आई एम लकी। सेकेंडली, obviously Chamkila never made songs on his own life.
Yes.
He made songs on like just happy songs, fun songs. He was most popular. It was striking that in a land where every day a new musician and a singer is coming, in that the highest record selling artist was a guy who was killed at 27. This is just like a story in itself, and that is Chamkila. So it's not guts that made us make more songs. He was extremely popular and he was very grassroots, but the opportunity, like if we were to make a film on him as the character, then we would want to talk about him and his moods and what he saw, or his life and times. Like अब ये गाना जो अब रिलीज हो चुका है, इश्क मिटाए, it is showing the life of Punjab in that time, really. बिल्कुल। So that he never wrote about. He only wrote about something which would give joy to the lowest denominator in the crowd.
But your decision, you know, I want to take you back to that time when you made that decision. Was this a question mark in your head? That we should have a completely new soundtrack to justify what we are going to tell you, you know, about Chamkila?
No, I was sure we'll have music because Chamkila, his life, the things that we don't know about him or which he never wrote about, those were also very music worthy.
Yes.
And the fact is that if your character is a musician, then he's sensing so much in music. There's something that is, like I was discussing before, something that's happening in his mind. It'll never express itself. It can only express itself in music of some way.
Yes.
Because वो बोलेगा नहीं. He's not a talker. You know, he's not a writer that he'll pen it. So therefore, music I knew is going to have a part. The other thing, and this is what happened when Rahman sir and I met, and it was his idea. I must say this. Musical. He said this is a musical. It can be a musical. How can it be a musical? Like we say, every Indian movie has music, therefore is a musical. Not like that, but in the Western way.
Yes.
In the way that there are going to be characters that are actually singing to camera.
Yes.
So in this song Baja and in the other song Dangar Dangar, which is Naram Kalja, you will see that there are characters that are actually talking to camera in the singing way, like we see in Western musicals. You know, so वो चीज़ है इसमें, and I needed that because I understood that जो चमकीला देखने को जनता आएगी, जो जनता देखेगी, उनको चमकीला के बारे में पता नहीं होगा.
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल.
So it is the responsibility of the film to, right in the beginning, make them abreast with what they need to know about Chamkila in order to enjoy his story.
Correct.
How will they get to know? In a musical way. In a way that people, characters are going to sing and tell them to tell who Chamkila was to the viewer.
So my question is, and I know I'm jumping the gun because I should watch the film, but दिलजीत और परिणीति भी गाने गा रहे हैं और उन्होंने पूरा लाइव गाया है. पिछले साल हमें मौका मिला था आपके सेट पर आने का, and I couldn't recognize Diljit. I saw him do all of it, and then afterwards a penny dropped, and I said, "That's Diljit." So guys, it's going to happen to you as in as more promotional material drops. But are there two soundtracks then? You know.
Well, in a way there are, because there is Diljit and Pariniti, especially Diljit, singing all the Chamkila songs in original Punjabi, and there is the soundtrack made by Rahman, Irshad, myself, and all that. So ये अलग-अलग है. There's a lot of music in this film. It's about a musician, so obviously.
एक गाना है, and I don't want to tell you too much about the song, but I've had a little bit of privilege हमारी नौकरी की वजह से to listen to the entire soundtrack, and there is a song, which is sung by Arijit in the film, and that song is just going to be oh my God, it's going to do things to everybody. रोना जिससे मैंने शुरू किया था. Do you have a favorite already?
I like the one that you're talking about, which is मैनू विदा करो. Also, we had a very great time in the making of this song. When this song was made, it was a beautiful time. We'll talk about that when people know about this song. That is nice. I also have always liked Ishq Mitai.
I was just going to ask you कि of all the songs, ये वाला गाना क्यों था which you led with? क्योंकि एक spirit है इस गाने में, and I'll tell you what I feel because हमने रेडियो पे बजाना शुरू किया ना फीवर पे.
जी.
And for a radio presenter, a song is like एक gold का सिक्का कि जो आप पहली बार पर्स में से निकाल के आप दिखा रहे हो पब्लिक को. And it's my song, like what else do I have, right? And I'm like, guys, आज मेरे पास नया गाना है और मैं ये 17 सालों से कर रही हूँ. एक नया गाना आता है, मैं कह रही हूँ पहली बार मैं किसी को एक गाना सुना रही हूँ. यार मेरी ज़िंदगी में उन लोगों की बहुत अहमियत है जो मुझे नया गाना सुनाते हैं. So imagine if I can play that role. And Ishq Mitai, the minute I did that and I presented it to my audience, I think the vibe changed of the show because it's got this like hop and step and jump. It's got a modern sound, and at the same time, it's got this very rooted, sort of lyric. Why did you choose to lead with it?
Because I thought it talks about Chamkila, it talks about Punjab in a very bold manner.
Yes.
And
हम कौन हैं?
हाँ हम कौन हैं? एक identity clear हो जाती है. It's not so it's specific, but it's also general enough, and it is a bold first step. So I liked that, and I thought, although there is another song that's coming and another, but then the one that's going to come after this one is an all-female song, and I love that. We enjoyed shooting that more than anything else in this, called Naram Kalja. So yeah, I hope the songs are very different from each other as well, and they're very also because this movie is actually a period film in the way that it's happening in the 1980s mostly. So we've also tried to be true to that kind of sound in films, and there is going to be that little bit of a kind of a nostalgic feeling in the soundtrack.
You said female songs, and I got onto that because yes, you have female songs. Katya Karu is the most female song. It's so beautiful, and where she's longing and she's saying, I just want to meet you once, right? मैं सारी रात कतिया करूँ. I don't even know, I'm not Punjabi, but all the Punjabi I know is from Yash Chopra and Imtiaz Ali.
चरखा काटते हैं ना, तो जैसे चरखा का गांधी जी भी काटते थे, तो वो औरतें वहाँ पंजाब में करती हैं, तो सारी रात कतिया करो। मैं और वो ना वो जो रुई होता है ना, that is symbolic for the spirit.
Yes, yeah. And then there is you know Geet from Jab We Met, where she sang ये इश्क है, you know बैठे बिठाए जन, and then you made us cry with आओगे जब तुम हो साजना. I've always wanted to ask you, you know, you could have done anything with that song, but you chose to go, you know, exactly that artist and that tone and that vibe. You even chose a different composer for that song. Why is आओगे जब तुम हो साजना so different from the rest of the album?
Because the rest of the album is composed by Pritam.
Yes.
Sandesh, being a friend, I knew that he has this one song,
Yes,
आओगे
yes.
जब तुम हो साजना. So I always had that song in my mind. And when that situation hits, and then when Geet feels like that, at that point of time, rather than saying, "Oh, I'm so sad," I wanted to say it in a way of like vanquished hope, और मैं क्या सोचा करती थी, that feeling. And this song was always in my mind, that this should come here, this is that moment for this song in the film. So they were very generous, both of them, for Sandesh, the fact that he said
गाना देने के लिए,
गाना
और ये गाना लेने के लिए.
and Pritam to say yes, I'm open,
yeah,
because he also admired Sandesh a lot, and so that's how it happened.
Do you believe in the concept of twin songs or twin songs? Because
Twin flame.
Twin flame तो है, मतलब twin flame तो पता नहीं, I don't believe in it at all.
मुझे पता भी नहीं क्या, मगर लोगों ने एक्सप्लेन करने की बहुत
कोशिश की है कि है एक जिसके साथ एक सोल कनेक्ट हो जाता है.
So गानों के भी twin flames होते हैं.
Twin flame songs. So like for me, कतिया करू is a twin flame of you know, हीर तो बड़ी sad है somewhere, you know, कहीं ना कहीं. You know, then there's a आओगे जब तुम हो साजना का ट्विन गाना तो वो है, which is मोहे कान्हा जो आए पलट के अब के होली में खेलूंगी डट के, जो आपका गाना नहीं है, but वो कहीं ना कहीं उसका सार वही है, मुझे कभी कभी लगता है.
वो है कि जब वो आएगा.
हाँ, जब वो आएगा. So these are the sort of and the female songs. Is there one that you want to talk about from the Chamkila soundtrack? You know, हमारे यहाँ पे एक म्यूजिक मैनेजर हुआ करते थे, सुनील गांवकर, अभी भी है, कहते हैं लेडीज सॉन्ग.
लेडीज सॉन्ग है. लेडीज, हाँ, जैसे कलकत्ता में बोलते हैं आहिस्ता लेडीज, बसों में बोलते हैं आहिस्ता लेडीज. तो
हमारे लिए कौन सा गाना है चमकीला में?
आपके लिए तो सारे मर्द के भी गाने आपके लिए ही हैं.
बिल्कुल.
आप ही के लिए तो
लेकिन ऐसा जो हम गाएंगे,
आप गा सकती हैं दो गाने. जो एक गाना है नरम कालजा. जी हाँ. औरत के अंदर जो वो चीज़ें होती है ना, जो उसी के अंदर होती हैं, जो मर्द के अंदर नहीं होती, वो अच्छी चीज़ें नहीं कह रहा मैं, बहुत वैसी वाली जो एक चीज़ होती है ना, वो उसमें बहुत प्रदर्शित है. चमकीला को हालांकि बहुत बोल्ड लिरिक्स होते थे, काफ़ी वल्गर होते थे, मगर औरतें बहुत एंजॉय करती थी उसके गाने. और आप अगर देखेंगी तो हम किसी भी खास करके नॉर्थ इंडियन सभ्यता में ना, women sing the cheapest, the boldest, the most vulgar songs.
Yes, of course.
So there is something there. Yeah. I think this song Naram Kalja is an ode and a tribute to it.
To that, yeah.
So I hope that women love this, like this song.
और एक नई आवाज है एक लड़की की.
हाँ, वो एक दूसरा गाना है जिसका नाम है तू क्या जाने मेरे यार. एक गाना है, वो भी एक बड़ा, एक दूसरा बहुत, मतलब that's also a very specific woman song, very unique, like a girl can feel like that. And it says like what she cannot openly express, that the song is expressing for her.
Correct.
We are seeing mundane moments of their lives together, but what we are hearing is her thoughts in those moments.
Yes.
So it's like that kind of a song. So that's also a very ladies song.
Ladies song.
which Yashika has sung, and Yashika has such a wonderful voice, and I'd heard her a few times in Rahman sir's studio before, but this was the first time that we could actually get her to sing. So these two songs are specifically and only female. So we are very excited about this.
I'm very excited about it because yeah, thanks for giving us those songs because ये गाना बहुत ज़रूरी है, you know, हमारे लिए है because you know we grew up you know with music videos in our minds, right? मतलब मैं रात को Walkman लगाती थी और यही गाने सुनती थी, but imagining myself in those songs.
Sure,
and you know हमारी life में जो situations हो रहे हैं, and I think that is what the musical gives us. The musical gives us an ability to suspend reality. We are all singing, we're all dancing, and we're all heroes and we're all heroines. And I think that's why it's so important कि एक musical का culture रहे. And maybe that's why I'm so excited to talk to you about Chamkila because you've given me that promise and that hope again. So before I go, I just want to say thank you for you know मेरी नौकरी रखने के लिए.
मैं अपनी नौकरी रखने के लिए ये कर रहा हूँ, बट आपकी नौकरी भी
बच रही है
तो बहुत अच्छी बात है.
तो उसके लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. मुझसे
आप भी अब वो सब कुछ कर देना जिससे मेरी नौकरी रह जाए.
अरे सर, एट योर सर्विस ऑल द टाइम. मेरे शो पर आने के लिए, इस पॉडकास्ट पर आने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. आई होप यू हैड अ गुड टाइम chatting.
Yeah, I had a great time. Lots of things came up which I hadn't thought of before.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.